without the right kit. But these guys, you say the fitness, yes, they practice every weekend and they spend a lot of time in the gyms.
Nice little challenge going on here between the quads.
Yeah, it's good. These guys have probably been having a dice within the whole race for themselves. At this stage, these guys are the leaders of the quad category. I think the one is Mark Breckel. I can't see who the second one is.
Moving at high speeds over very rough terrain in somebody else's dust. It's definitely not an easy thing to do.
Now, you've actually got to have a little bit of trust in the competition. You know, you're passing guys and you're using the whole road, so you do have to have trust in each other.
Okay, back to the production vehicles now.
There you can see Cheppy, they missed the turn, and it's not a problem, they just cut across the track.
Now there's Cassie Kutsia and Pete Swanepoel in their Hilux. Tell us a bit about that.
Now, this is great. This has been a long development program that Cassie and Kilo Engineering have taken on, and these guys have managed to get their act together, and it's really working well now.
And just about overtaken.
Now, the motor that Cassie's got in has got super horsepower, and a small space frame like that, which is a Class B 2-litre motor vehicle, has no legs against that.
Moving at high speeds. And so are the bikes. Let's not forget them.
Now, this is Alfie, our race leader at this stage. It looks like he's going to run away with this one.
Okay, out of the competitors, we've got a father and son team, the Cheppiks, as we mentioned, and we also have a husband and wife team, don't we?
Oh, yes, yeah, they are. These Mandy and Tony Yo, they've done a fantastic job. Great PR for Land Rover, and these guys are a personality you cannot believe, and I'm sure that Tony's going to be on the radio and the TV in the future talking to us and giving us a few chirps. He'll know what we're talking about. He really is a great competitor, as is Mandy.
Okay, so there you are, the husband and wife team. We saw the father and son team a little earlier on. One of the great things about in these kind of events and these kind of races is you never know what's going to come up next. Your bike gets all covered in dust and covered in sand, and then you turn around the next corner and it's time to take it to the car wash.
Yeah, you'll see the different approaches these guys have in the water. Some of the guys reckon it's the best to try and wash the car or the bike. The other guys are really more cautious and they take it easy.
And you'll also notice, if you watch these scenes that are coming up now, we're going to stay with the river for a little while and watch the people going through. And if you watch the bushes on the side, you'll see people just coming up to watch the event all the time. Where are they all coming from?
It's amazing. You can be traveling along the route and out of the blue, there's a couple of thousand spectators. There's a lot of missions and hospitals on the route, and these guys all congregate on the side of the route and watch for the day. It's incredible.
Now, every single motor vehicle that comes out a slightly different way. Everybody uses their own tactics. You'll see some in a little while going in a lot faster than perhaps they should have. Did anybody get stuck?
Yeah, unfortunately, we were one of the competitors that did get stuck, but at that stage we'd had a few problems. So yeah, there are different approaches and your concentration basically at the end of the day. You know, it's a long day, 520 kilometers, which is unusually long for an event like of this nature. We're normally about 420, 450 on a daily basis. This is Tom Smith. Nice approach, nice clean line.
And obviously quite relieved to be out of there. Looking at the bikes now.
Now, this is Carl LaRue, KTM. This is a 500cc motorcycle. You'll see the 250s mixed in amongst them. This is Clayton Enslin and Greg Aspinall.
Okay, Greg battling just a little bit there. Hasn't got the into the water quite right, but he's out, which is quite a relief, I would imagine, to him at this stage.
You know, these motorcycles really do get through. Watch this. This is Tony doing a bit of showboating for the TV. I'm sure that his car's nice and clean there anyway.
I'm sure it is. He takes a difficult way out, though, doesn't he? He doesn't make it easy for himself.
Yeah, he nearly got stuck. Just on the right there is a big hole that's been cut by the locals. Here we have the first of the quads.
And taking it very, very slowly and very safely.
Yeah, it looks like he actually he stopped. He lost his momentum there. He actually should have kept it going, but it's always easy from this side of the cameras. The locals giving him a bit of encouragement.
And a quick wave, and off he goes.
as Spencer Creel. Nice clean line as well. These guys, they're very efficient on these motorcycles. At this stage, it's getting nearer the end of the race. They've been in the saddle for basically 7 hours.
Now, we were talking earlier on about all the different competitors being on the water at the same time. There's a vehicle and a bike going through the water, Roy Slavitt, at exactly the same time. Doesn't this make things more difficult for everybody?
It's very difficult for everybody, but I'll tell you something, Roy Slavitt deserves a medal. He's restricted with limitations on his one arm, and he drives a manual motor vehicle. It's incredible, and Roy finished 6th overall in the special category this race. It was incredible. This is Shamir Variawa and Bix Carolyn, just about to get roosted by a bike.
And our cameraman too, by the looks of things.
Yeah, and Yas Kasi and Pete Swanepoel. These guys take a quick approach through the water.
Straight through no problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Now here's the two-wheel drive. The vehicle is running in two-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's unusual for RP to be having problems like this, but that's racing. That's racing. I mean, they've done fantastically well to be up as far as they are at this stage. Oops, looks like they've developed a bit of a problem. This is where you need four-wheel drive. A vehicle like this is designed for four-wheel drive. It's quite heavy. They have huge horsepower, and this is where you have these time delays. Whereas if he had four-wheel drive, he'd be able to just cruise through there.
Now, the easiest thing to do is to try and get some local help. But we must mention, though, that getting local help usually involves a little reimbursement on the cash side. And obviously, when you're in a race like this, you don't carry a wallet in your back pocket with a couple of 1 rand coins in, do you?
Well, they wouldn't take 1 rand to start with, but no, I think at this stage, this is nearer the end of the event, and they might quite have run out of money.
Still nice to see people offering their help as much as they can. And at a dangerous cost as well. That was very close as the bikes came roaring through. Glad to report, though, nobody was injured in that at all. Although you'll notice nobody's helping him anymore.
This is when the car guys don't get that happy, but you know, those motorcycles do approach at huge speeds. They were probably thinking about, if there's a car in front, let's try and pass him while he's having a problem, because then we don't have to battle to pass him later on.
Now, what's happening now is they've run the Land Cruiser all the way back down to the bottom again to give it enough of a run-up to try and get through the sand.
Now, this is really when these guys are hoping that another competitor with four-wheel drive will come along, because the camaraderie in off-road racing is fantastic, and they would have gladly hooked up a rope to RP and pulled him through.
Okay, well, there's RP stuck in the sand, and that's where we'll leave him for a little while as we move on.
Now, this is Roy, another approach. This guy's, they've seen the problem ahead, and they're actually going to try a different line to actually get through the water.
There's our leader in the quad category. Once again, taking it easy, always very cautious.
Whoops, this could be... you've got to be very careful. When you're reversing these, Paul, when you are reversing these race cars, the vision is very limited. So he's had a problem as well, so he's reversing back and he's going to have a run at that. Bearing in mind that these space frames are all two-wheel drive as well.
Okay, it's easier obviously to do a flying start, as it were, from here where the ground is a bit heavier, and take out a couple of banners at the same time.
Yeah, once you're on hard-packed soil, you can get going, and you can just have a good run at it.
Now, not everybody found this that easy.
Now, I think these guys also had a problem with their drive. They also had two-wheel drive. The conditions were really testing, and quite a few of the vehicles did find that the four-wheel drives were giving them problems.
You can see by the reflection of the light and the shadows that we're now moving fairly late into the evening, and people are obviously tired. They've had a long, hard day.
Yeah, with a delayed start as well, with the start being delayed an hour, that's how come the guys are riding into the dark. Normally they finished sort of about 4:30.
Now look at this. We look as though we're out for an afternoon cruise.
Now this is a Class C vehicle. These guys are incredible. They managed to get this thing through. It's also a two-wheel drive. It's got a lot of weight. We call it a Tupperware car, but it's well engineered. Instead of putting aluminium body panels on it, they put plastic.
And here we are, the first one through, and it's the Chepex.
7 hours and 19 minutes. That's great going for 520 kilometers.
Followed, number 2, by Richard Carolyn, Greg Harvey and Boy Stone in 3rd place. Moving on to Class B, Marius Burains first, Tom Smith second, Johan and Frieda van Jaarsveld running 3rd. Into Class D, there's the husband and wife team, Tony and Mandy Yeo. followed by Kasi Kutsi and Pete Swanepoel. They must be happy about that, Kenny.
Yeah, it's a great turnabout. And RP and Robin did fantastically to finish third.
Class E, Karel van Vieren and Koppie Versveld came in first, followed by Noel Quinn, Haley Quinn, another combination at number 2, and 3, Skalkberger and Douglas Driver. Now, there are lots of finishers there. Moving on to Class G, only one finisher.
Well, the conditions didn't favour those two-wheel drives. They did a great job in finishing.
Hein Grobler and Charles Vormerans, well done. Let's move on to the bikes. Coming through, it's number 500. It's
Alfie Cox, who else?
Alfie Cox winning, and Graham McLaughlin coming in second, followed by Carl LaRue at number 3. In the 250cc class, Daryl Curtis, Spencer Krill and Greg Aspinall.
Daryl did fantastically, only 9 minutes behind Alfie, and it's adding to the weight of his Dakar challenge this year.
Onto the 200cc's, Wayne Farmer, Quinton Milton and Dudley Smith coming in third. Moving from the 200cc's now onto the quad category, coming in first in the quads.
Yeah, Mark Breckel, a fantastic achievement, a big turn up for the books ahead of the favourites, Vickers van Devon and Christoph van der Merwe, and then of course Paul Trumser, the local. He's done fantastically.
That's in the Class L category. Moving on now to Class K. John Craig Costello coming in first, Leon van Eerden second, and Cornel de Villiers third. So there you are, the end of a successful event, the Beltrans Tongaland Off-Road Challenge. Kenny, thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again at the SA National Off-Road Championships leg number 6, the Caledon 400, taking place in the Free State in September.
Thanks, Paul. That was great.